Welcome to HumanityWins.net. Please read the important disclaimer on your screen. All of the content provided is for entertainment purposes only. It should not be taken as medical or legal advice. Please contact your doctor or lawyer if you require such advice. Thank you. The show starts right now. Hello, welcome to this new show of HumanityWins.net. And as you can see, we have another guest. We have Joel from Wake in the Future. Hello, Joel. Thank you for being here. It's a pleasure and honor as always. A long time. We spoke in May. In your channel, I was a guest there, and you came here last year. And how are you?
I am well, thank you. Thank you for having me on, Alex. It's it's been a while, probably too long, and it feels good to be on recording again. It's been a while. I know Wake in the Future took quite a turn. Pat was all done probably around January, and my last recording, I believe, was July 22nd over on. I was still posting on BitChute. I wasn't bothering with Rumble. I was on really just Odyssey and BitChute. And I haven't taken anything down. All my stuff is still over there. Anybody who's listening can head over to BitChute and search Wake in the Future and listen to us. But it's been, I don't know. It's just been, I haven't really decided what I'm going to do. I might be back. I might not. I know for now, I'm definitely on pause.
Yes. It's so difficult to explain because I think, it has been a while. I started in February last year, so it's at least a year and a half, a little bit more than that. And life just happens, and you have to, think of your priorities, your family, your job, your situation. And speaking to other creators, like, for example, Moxie out there on BitChute, this is something that the ones that hear us, they might like it or not. It's up to them. It's their opinion, okay? That's not the point. But sometimes if they don't do this themselves, they don't understand how much is involved in having a channel like this. So it's not only pushing record and recording something, and there's something else. You really need to feel it. And I guess we all saw that Pat kind of stopped feeling it a few months ago, and then you kept going for a few months, and you're definitely on pause. And you have your fans. I'm your fan. Tony from London is your fan. Tony from Mexico, Jeannie, and many others that would love for you to come back. But we totally understand it. It's something you have to feel. And sometimes I think about stopping, to be honest, and actually reduce my shows to 2 shows a week. I used to do 3 shows a week. I used to do 5 shows a week a year ago. But right now, 2 shows is what I can handle. And maybe that goes down to 1 show and then to nothing. I totally understand.
It's all, and you make a great point, Alex. It's all, you have to feel this game. None of us are getting famous. None of us are getting rich doing it. This is something that we do because we enjoy it, because we want to get a message out there. Pat and I were live. We started in March or April of 2020. And we went right through until midsummer 2023. So we had a 3-year run, and sometimes I feel like you get to the conclusion where your message isn't. It's not that people didn't want to hear my message, but it was there's so much division and so much opinion. One thing that I really wanted to do, and especially you can hear it in the name, Waking the Future, is I wanted to be able to discuss and have conversations about anything, about not only what was going on, but also the history and how we got to this point. And I wanted to be able to have debates with people, and it just turned ugly. It turned very malicious. It turned into name calling. And if we believe in freedom of speech, well, and I can't have a public debate with somebody because we disagree on something, or we can't even come to the understanding that it's okay to disagree. Well, it got rather frustrating, and I got a little burnt out.
Yes, makes a lot of sense, Joel. And I always share with you guys, with Pat and you and Tony, both Tonys, that privately, that personally I believe freedom of speech is fine, but you have to be respectful, okay? There has to be a respectful discourse. You have to understand, and you have to embrace the idea that people are not going to agree with you, and you shouldn't be upset about that, okay? So you think you're right, that's fine, but don't be upset if others think you are in the wrong. So the problem with freedom of speech is the ones that want to impose an idea they have a problem when they become belligerent, when they become aggressive, and you step back. And sometimes you just don't partake, you don't engage, and that upsets them because they take that as you are limiting them because you're not hearing their message. You see, that's the only problem. Is okay, fine. You think this, I don't want to hear about it, and that in their eyes is in their mind is you're blocking their freedom of imposing speech on you, of imposing ideas on you, which we know the system is that in the past, and these oppressive systems that imposed an idea on the population, and the population couldn't say, well, I don't agree. No, you have to agree. For example, let's say Soviet, Russia, or something like that. This is the best system. It doesn't matter what you think. It doesn't matter your opinion. This is what you should feel, or something like that. So that's my problem. When someone has an idea and I hear it and I say, great. Oh, but do you agree? No. Oh, and that's the problem. Okay, I think they should stop there. Okay, fine. We agree to disagree, and we stay friends, or we part away friends. But the problem is people wanna argue, people wanna be belligerent, and at the end they want to feel they're right. Tony,
Well, it's a self-justification thing too. Like they just want, they need to be heard. They need that, it's freedom of speech until you disagree with me, and then, that's got to be silence, and then it's got to turn to, I want to disagree. The best conversations I have with people are people with opposing and different points of view. I have the opportunity to learn. How boring would it be if everybody did and acted and thought and said the same exact things that I did? The world would be a very boring place, in my opinion.
yes, that's how you learn. And then you can decide if you agree, if you learn something new, if you are open to it. And I think the best way is just, for me, what has worked for me, especially the last few years, is being open to being wrong and not being concerned. Honestly, take that away totally from my mind of the need to be right. Okay. And to know that what vibrates in me, what resonates with me, and I'm talking about the important subjects, is what's really important for me. And if there are a multitude of opinions out there, I'll listen to them. I'll entertain them. I actually will accept a few of them, the ones that resonate with me, with my truth. But at the end, I'm not, it doesn't upset me, whatever, is in the out there, because by the way, it's beyond my control. So yes, I agree with you totally. It's by discussing openly and by being, by having a nice, cordial discussion. But we don't have to agree. I mean, if we agree, that's perfect. And we agree partially, that's perfect. But I think the ones that are really belligerent, they want you to at the end say, you are wrong. Them to say to you, you're wrong, and I'm right. That's what they want to hear. Okay. And
that's exactly what they want to hear. And you bring up a very important point. And when we go into anything like this, I think it's very important to go into any discussion, or even for that matter, let's bring it back to waking up every morning. I wake up every morning with the idea and the thought in my morning meditation that today is a new day with new thoughts, and everything I thought I knew yesterday, I could be totally wrong about. And with that frame of mind, I'm always learning. I'm always learning, and I'm always unlearning, right? Like it was one of the famous Stoic philosophers that said, like, knowledge is understanding that I don't know, and that most of which I say or repeat is something that somebody else told me, wrote, and at the end of the day, most of it is just opinion.
Yes, and it's like this notion right now of science, and you know what I'm talking about. I don't want to be obvious. This show is going on YouTube, so we need to be a little bit careful, I guess. But this notion that whatever we see in science and information and that, as you say, is in a way secondhand because it comes from somewhere else. Okay, so we don't have to be doctors, we don't have to be engineers, we don't have to be something like that to just say, well, this doesn't make a lot of sense to me, so I'm not going to take it. Because at the end, you decide. What happens from here to inside, in your brain, in your heart, you decide. I mean, I think that's where the world is going, by the way, that we're discovering this power we have in us to control our lives, Joe. To really say, I control my life. Okay, doesn't matter what I hear, the ideas out there. It's fine to embrace them. It's fine. But at the end, I control my life. I decide what rings in me and what doesn't ring in me. And that upsets the ones that want to control you. Okay.
100%, Alex. And I think you bringing up the point of really what it is it's spirituality, and it's this connection that I have, or disconnection to all of these outside influences. And it goes to almost like the whole attachment thing. Like I get all of these outside influences. I don't watch television, and I haven't been keeping up with the news. It's impossible to stay completely out of the news. But I now understand how healthy that is. I've really resorted. I'm reading 3 to 4 hours a day, so I'm constantly learning, and I'm just staying away from a lot of the negative influences. I'm staying away from a lot of YouTube. I am watching some YouTube videos, but I'm really switching to reading and audio books. I just want to learn. And if I spend 3 to 4 hours learning every day and really understanding history, I still been studying our education system. And that's where really what I've come to find. And again, this is opinion, and this is my personal opinion, is that, the public education system is where a majority of our problems start. And it makes total sense. Our children start at a very early age in a public school system, and here we are today.
Yes. Education is such a sensitive subject because what I think is, at the end, important education has to be at home. Okay, has to be at home. I mean, you were clearly educated at home, and I think I was clearly educated at home, and and when you liberate the school system, the education system from that important education, the values, okay, the understanding of what is important really, and you leave it to the history, to the science, to the math, to the stuff that is not really important, then I think, if you don't allow the education system to mold your child in a way, and you take care of that at home, then clearly you have an advantage. And yes, I know there's homeschooling, there's several ways. My children have been the regular way, but my wife and I have always tried that the important values are at home. We don't allow the school to mess with that. And also here in Mexico, to be honest with you, in private schools, they don't really do stuff like in other countries. So we're in a way, we're fine in that sense. But you're totally right. It's important that we use the education, the good part of the education system, I guess, but leave the important values at home. I don't know what you think about that.
Well, yeah, what we've really seen just in, the 43 years that I've been alive is the demoralization, right? We've seen that over time, and we can see it with the music. We can see it in Hollywood. We can see it all over the place. But the importance of a strong family unit and strong morals and values at home, you can't defeat that. You can't. That's where we raise our kids. And it's just like the public education that we see today. It was, it took 100 years to make it the norm, right? Can you imagine 200 years ago, they came, a town official came to your house and said, all right, we're going to take your kid and he's going to be with us from the age of 5 to the age of 18 for 10 months out of the year and 7 hours of the day. It didn't work like that. It took a very long time to get to where we are today. But you bring up the most important point of raising our children at home and making sure that we spend the time. We're not just going through the motions of being a parent, but we're instilling those morals and values into our children for the next generation.
Don't leave that job to the system, certainly, or to whatever, okay, to a tutor or something like that. That's something that a parent needs to do. And I actually believe that it's a lifetime job. I still speak to my parents. They're still both alive. And I still learn stuff. I still learn things from my parents, even at this age. I'm 50. Okay. So, I think it's a lifetime job of trying just to guide in a way, because at the end they have to decide on their own, to guide your children and say, you know what, this is what I think, but you make up your mind, especially if they're adults. Okay.
You gotta let them fall on their faces. I mean,
Yeah.
like that. That's how we learn. Like I never became successful in anything by being perfect at it. Like I had to learn through trials and tribulations, and success isn't like how well we achieve at something, but how many times we learn from our mistakes. How many times did I stand up? And I think that's another thing that we've lost in today's society is that will to just keep going, the amount of power that we have within us. I don't think it is demonstrated anymore like it used to be.
Yes, I've had that in my life recently, especially in my business that I employ young people, and it's amazing that this generation, and there's always the complaint of the older generations, of the newer generations, they work less, they're lazy. I agree. There's something into that. But these new generations, I think, with all the technology, with the home office, with the, don't doing long commutes and stuff like that, they have been so pampered that I noticed that the first sign of struggle, as you say, you mentioned something very important, that the first sign of struggle, they have issues. Okay, so that's something my wife and I have taken our kids to let them know life is not easy. You're gonna struggle. You're gonna fall down. The important part is you stand up again. Okay. I mean, you're gonna make mistakes. You're gonna fall down. It's gonna take effort. Because it seems right now these younger generations. I mean, I was watching a video of a lady, a younger, I don't know, 20 something, and she wanted to earn $200,000 a year out of college or something like that. And she was crying because they were offering her, I don't know how much, 40,000, 30,000. And she couldn't even pay rent with that. I mean, I understand it's difficult. Money is so difficult because if you are not making ends meet, but when you're young, you're supposed not to make a lot of money. That's how it works. I mean, you grow. And then, but it seems this generation, Joe, they want everything young at 18, at 20. I mean, they want to be up there. And things take time and take effort. Okay.
Well, yeah, the sense of entitlement in this that I've seen lately, not even, I'm 43. I'm a few years younger than you, but I would say that you and I were raised and brought up with the same values, the same thing, and that desire to fight that you talk about. People just want to give up, right? We got smarter phones and dumber people. And that's not an opinion. I mean, that's fact. You can do the research. I've done the research behind this. The IQ of people is definitely dropping. Do I love technology? Do I think it's absolutely beautiful that I can hop on whenever I want and talk with Alex down in Mexico? Yeah, that's great. But it's also, the technology is also destroying us in so many ways. It connects me and you, but while I'm connected to you, and then, if I were to hop off this and go on to YouTube and watch a few videos, and my wife is in the next room, or I'm scrolling through Facebook, or I'm scrolling, like, I've taken my lovely wife, and instead of enjoying something that's real, something that's in the room, something that I can see, feel, engage with, I tend to, I don't do this, but most people tend to scroll on Instagram. What's the other one? Snapchat. I don't even know what that is, but all of these social media platforms, which really take us out of ourselves and create this a character. That's all it is. I don't see many people posting about the struggles in their life, right? We paint this pretty picture that we want everybody else to see.
Yeah. Oh, you touch such an interesting subject. And I've been off social media for a few years now. I mean, I don't have Instagram. I don't have Facebook. I don't miss it, to be honest. I do believe these platforms, one of their functions is they want to divide us. Okay. And they want to divide us through that comparison. Because at the end, Joel, they present this idea that we're in a race. And the faster you go in the race and the more ahead you are, the better you're off. And if you're falling behind, you should pick up the speed, and money. Okay, money, success measured by money. And so on these platforms, you watch the friend from high school that has a bigger house, and you watch the friend from an old job that is in vacation in Europe, and so you start feeling these frustrations through the division, like why him, why her, and not me, and you were the same age or stuff like that. So honestly, in my case, it was a little bit different. I didn't leave Facebook and Instagram, as you know, they're the same company. So I posted a video on 2021. There's no point that I share what I posted, but it was real. Okay, it was not a fake video. Okay, so what I posted, and then I got a notice that. So they told me you have two options. You can delete your account, or you can be suspended for 30 days. So I said, thank you, I'm going to delete it. And then they started emailing me saying, hey, come back. Hey, you can recover your content if you want. Hey, no worries. Okay, come back. I never came back. So I don't miss it at all. I know it's a tool for people. I mean, if sometimes you can engage customers and clients through these platforms. And what I like, for example, from another platform, Twitter, X now, or whatever, is that I don't see that in that platform. I see people talking about subjects and its engagement in topics, and that's what I see. Okay, but I don't see this comparison. Okay, this oh, I have this, I have that. I was actually most of the people, if not all the ones I engage on Twitter, I don't know them. Okay, I don't know them personally. They're not necessarily my friends or anything like that. So I like that open forum mentality that we discuss subjects, any subject, Joe. We can discuss, history and philosophy or something like that. And that I like. That I think is a good use of technology. As you say, for example, this technology, Zoom, that is, I'm in a different country than you are. We're 2,000-3,000 miles apart, and we're able to have a discussion. I mean, I don't know you personally. I don't know Pat personally. I don't know Tony from UK, and I have engaged so much with you guys through good use of technology. So I think there's good use. And the bad use is the one that divides us, that that comparison, the one that tries to kind of show your egoic mind saying, hey, you're falling behind. So a senseless race, Joe, a senseless race, because you keep racing, then you get to 50, 60, 70, and you realize I don't even know what I was racing. Well, they want to keep us in the race, okay? Because that's one of the ways they keep us in that state. Okay.
And you brought up a very good point, and the difference between success and money, right? Most people value success or how much money they're making, how big the house is, how big the car is, and success for me is I wake up with a smile on my face, and I don't feel any pressure to do anything, or I don't have to please anybody today. I don't care. I don't care if I get a brand new car or not. And I know that's pretty cliche, and a lot of people will say, oh, well, how much money I make doesn't matter. But you know that they're lying right to your face, right? And to be as grateful as I am today, because just a quick recap. I mean, you know more of my story. I mean, 7 years ago, I was homeless and addicted to heroin and alcohol. And, because I was so focused on everything else and everybody else and how the world had screwed me over and how it wasn't fair. And what I did was I took control. And I decided, like, almost 7 years ago in January, it'll be 7 years, that I decided I was going to be happy. That was my goal. And that's what I've done. I lead a very simple life, but I'm very happy. I'm able to spend my time helping people, helping the homeless, helping the less fortunate, because that fuels me so much more. That's a real intense feeling that I get. I've had way more money in the bank than I have right now, but I don't have that feeling in my heart when I wake up, right? And there's a lot to be said about not stressing about money, being able to live very simply, debt-free, laying back and letting my head hit the pillow. Like, I wish I could describe it to people, but I can't.
Yes. And you make a very good point that I agree with you. And actually right now, my oldest son, he's 18, and he's thinking of the direction of his life, what he wants to do in a way. And what I told him is the best advice I can give you is try to do something that you enjoy. Okay. Yes, of course, how much money you're going to get paid. I know. Money is such a difficult subject in that sense because you're totally right. When you have your needs covered, you're golden. Okay. I guess when you're a step back and you're struggling to get your needs covered, that's when money, how can I say it? Money, I don't think buys happiness. Okay. If you have excess money or anything like that. But the lack of money, being in debt or something like that, that's when it gets very stressful. Okay. Very stressful. People that are paycheck to paycheck and they maybe need to get these what day loans they're called and just to pay for food this week, that kind of stuff. Okay. I recently made an episode called The Debt Trap, and I shared a story of a video I found of a lady that she got ill and she couldn't work anymore, so she went into debt and she lost her house, and that's the part of money when it gets very stressful. But just to get for the intention of your life to get money, that's not going to buy happiness. Money doesn't buy happiness at all. Never. That's why
there's nothing wrong with having a lot of money.
There's nothing wrong.
But what happens is we focus on what we don't have instead of working hard, working diligently to get to where we are. And I think that's another thing that has been created is that like making $1 million is easy, and that we don't have to put the work into it. And that, I've been fooled by it. I mean, the one thing that I think you and I have going for us, Alex, is that we're a little bit older, right? We're not old by any means, but if this conversation wouldn't have been, this wouldn't be the same conversation if you were 30 and I was 23, right? It would just be so eventually we get some years behind us and we understand that it's the smaller things in life that actually matter.
Yes. And you wish when you were 20, 25, I don't have any regrets, to be honest with you. I made a lot of mistakes, but I have to say I've had a happy life anyway. So, but I can agree that when we're 20, 25, 30, you start seeing kind of the big picture as you say. We have some years behind us. Okay, so certainly, and it's kind of what you want to share with your children. You cannot impose to them; they have to find it their own way. But you can kind of tell them. That's why I say the best thing, he wants to be an engineer and that. What do you like? You like animals? Be a veterinarian or work with animals. You like art? Go with art. And yes, I know some of these things are not paid as well, but at the end you have to express yourself. I truly believe that it's very important that you express yourself. And for example, it's very clear to me that your mission in life, the way you express yourself is by helping people in need that have, the issues that we have shared. Yes, nothing, and, problems that they need help, okay? And that's the way you express yourself. And it's great. It's a great mission in life. How Tony from Mexico expressed himself, he's out there in his boat. And I've been with him, and I've seen the smile in his face and how that's his life. Okay, that's why he was out there in Hawaii, and that's why. And some people may say, no, he just likes to, be at the beach. Not necessarily. Okay, we have to be very understanding. Okay, not everyone is the same, and not everyone is meant to be in an office, and not everyone is meant to, And I remember someone, not really a friend, an acquaintance, on one of my first jobs, that said, I'm not having any kids because they will mess with my career. And I was, all right. I was a young man then. I was not even married. But I said, but they're a blessing. Okay, so sometimes, you have to sacrifice some things, money or something like that, to have the other things. Okay, very difficult. You hit the jackpot and you have everything.
Right.
And by the way, the people that have a lot of money, Joe, you'll be surprised. They're stressed about either having more money or losing that money they have. They're stressed, so they're checking their investments and they are how did we sell this quarter? This quarter is better than the previous quarter because we have to continue growing. Because if you don't grow, then you start shrinking, and it's going to be less money. So it's amazing. You will think when you see millionaires that they have everything covered, and trust me, sometimes they're more stressed than you are.
Oh, absolutely. For my age here in the United States with the food and the so-called stress and the rat race and everything, I don't have high cholesterol. My blood pressure is perfect. You know, and it all goes back to like my success, my image, my life is defined by the amount of money in my bank account. And it's like, don't sweat you know, and to constantly be stressing out about how much money I have or how much money I'm going to be making or how much money I might lose. Like, I just don't want to be 70 years old, you know, 80 years old, you know, seeing that my last breaths are near and seeing like how much time I wasted about things that at the end of the day I couldn't control when I could have been spending them with the people I love or spending them just doing anything else that was positive. You know,
Yes.
what do human beings need, right? We need oxygen, obviously. We need food, and we need shelter and water. Those are the things that we absolutely need. So when we look at it like everything beyond that is a gift, well, my life gets a lot more simple, and all of a sudden I'm able to be happy because I know one thing right now is that I'm not going to be cold tonight, and I have food, and I've got a family that loves me. I mean, what more can I ask for?
No, you you have everything.
Yeah.
Okay, you are rich. Okay, because again, what's rich? I mean, I think rich is being happy. And you actually mentioned, I think you shared a video with us a long time ago, a few months ago, that the person on the video said to have money is to have time, something like that, or to be rich is to have time, or so, to have time to do the things you want to do. Because again, you could be making $1 million a year or something and be a CEO in a company. I don't know, something like that. But maybe you're working till 10 p.m. Maybe you're working weekends. Maybe you don't see your family. Maybe you're traveling all the time. And then life goes through. Yes, you had money and you were able to put your kids through college, everything. But as you say, you get to 70, 80 and suddenly you have regrets, okay? Because maybe I should have taken a step back. And that's why, for me, the best suggestion, I think, to everyone is you don't like your job, change jobs. But do what you really want to do. And you don't like your city, change cities, okay? And try to find, maybe you don't like bigger cities and you want a smaller town or something like that, less stressful. I don't know, but try to make things work for you in the sense that you feel fulfilled and you feel you're expressing what you really want to express, okay?
Absolutely. And when you find something that you want to do, learn about that job, right? So now we found something that we like to do. So all we could do is get better at it. We just continue to learn, and that's what I'm doing. That's what I'm doing right now. You know, it's like I honestly can say that like I don't wake up and go to work. I go to the office and then I'm out in the streets and I'm out doing what I love to do. So it's not, I don't have a 60-hour work week anymore, Alex. I spend 60 hours doing what I love. And it's really amazing. Did I take somewhat of a pay cut? Yeah, I did. But when I sat there and this career path was brought to me, because as you know, I'm a carpenter by trade and we do fairly well. You know, and I sat and I meditated, or, you know, I didn't meditate for 2 days, but over a period of 2 days, I spent a lot of time quiet. And at the end of it, I knew what to do. I knew what the answer was. I knew it. And my wife saw it on my face and my family saw it on my face. And was there a little bit of fear over economic stuff? Yeah, absolutely. But I've learned through understanding and I guess what we would call finding myself, that I don't have to know the answer, right? I knew that what I was doing was right. I didn't know why. I have more answers to that now. But to go with that intuition that we all have, that sixth sense, if you will, when I can go with that and understand that I don't need all the answers, right? Because the one thing so many of us want, and I'm the same way, is I want to know why. I want to know why. I need to know why. And when I can get myself beyond that and understand that I might not know why, but I know this is the right decision, you know, the doors open up.
Or maybe that you don't need to know why.
Exactly.
Maybe there is not a why. And I mean, obviously not as important as you were just explained, which is a life decision and very important, involve your wife and everything. But with my channel, what happened to me a few months ago is suddenly one day, out of nowhere, Joe, never thought about it, never crossed my mind. One day I woke up and something in me, which I call my intuition that speaks to me, said, today start a YouTube channel. And I remember sharing with Tony from London, and he said, well, what? Kind of doesn't make a lot of sense. And I said, yes, but I'm going to do it. And I started uploading the older videos and that. And then when the channel was kind of complete, the next part of the intuition came, which was stop BitChute and Rumble, okay, and just go exclusively on YouTube. And again, it didn't make any sense. I mean, we were doing okay, especially on BitChute. We were already on 1,500 subscribers, something like that. So I stopped, and I'm happy with the decision. So I still, maybe from a sense standpoint, doesn't make a lot of sense. But I know, for example, that I just couldn't handle BitChute and Rumble anymore. The negativity that, because you upload a video and you have to check it, and the comments of, and watching other videos and stuff like that. I just didn't want to partake with that anymore. So maybe sometimes your heart speaks to you, your intuition, your consciousness speaks to you in ways you don't apparently understand, like, for example, moving, changing jobs, learning a new trade, expanding your trade, as you say, continue learning, being better. And in a way, maybe it doesn't make a lot of sense sometimes, but trust me, there's something there. When your intuition is speaking to you, which, by the way, I'm totally convinced our intuition is speaking to all of us all the time, okay? Through dreams, through signs. In a way, it's kind of the universe speaking to you. And it's beautiful when you start listening to it, and then it becomes a one-way road because you decide to just let yourself go and say, I'm going to go with my intuition, okay? Nothing wrong with my mind, but I'm going to go, like you said, you meditated, you put your mind away in a way, I think you embrace your consciousness, your intuition, your inner self, and then that took the decision for you and you were fine with it, okay?
Yeah, that's it. And that's exactly it. It's letting go. That's a very important term, just let all those outside influences, and I could sit here and do a whole episode on consciousness and our unconsciousness. I've been going down the Carl Jung rabbit hole, and that's always very interesting stuff to read, and it's just, yeah, I mean, it's even tonight, even today with coming on it, I didn't really expect it, but I sat back. I said, should I go on? And I said, yeah, I'll hop on. I mean, I can't remember the last time I was on YouTube. We didn't last. We didn't last on YouTube very long.
I know. It's and some
it's
people
totally. It's all good though, and the reality of it is one thing that I definitely realize, and then I'll stop here, is that one thing I realized with Waking the Future over the 3 years that we did it is I have no more interest in the divide. I have no more interest arguing with people. I just don't. I just want to be able to connect with my fellow human beings, and I'm all done trying to prove I'm right and that other people are wrong. And that's probably the most important lesson I learned from Waking the Future, is that I have no interest in the divide.
Yeah, no, that's great, Joe. And I think that was very apparent. Maybe not at the beginning so much, but around a year and a half ago, that you guys started, when you started bringing a lot of guests, that's opening. I mean, it was not only you guys talking to yourself. I mean, you and Pat, and it could become kind of an echo chamber. You open to new guests, and the way you embrace that, I think was very apparent to everyone that you guys were not interested at all in discussing the same subjects all over again. Just beating the dead horse, because again, we don't awaken anyone. The one that wants to awaken is going to awaken on its own, and we can just share and guide and that, but the awakening process is a personal one. So, and Tony shared with me, Tony from London, a video like a week ago, that this person shares that about the egoic mind, that he says he prefers to be right than to be alive, and it's something quite.
I think he sent that to me. I gotta watch that.
Watch it, because it was
I
so
meant
powerful.
to watch it.
Powerful, Joe. It's so powerful, Joe, because this doctor or something, this very spiritual person said, the egoic mind it will kill you, but it will be happy if you die just thinking you're right. Okay. Oh, that's the enemy. So I should kill. I will go to battle and, even die, but I believe because I'm right. And that's the bad guy and I'm the good guy. And I believe most of the divide that we see in the world right now, and for thousands of years, hundreds of years, it's cemented on that idea of being so important, of being right, and the importance that things make sense. I think it scares us, Joe, that when things don't make a lot of sense, it's like, oh my God. And that's the mind saying, I want to be part of the equation. I want to explain it to you. I want to be rational. Okay. But when you let yourself go, and for example, the shape of the earth and whatever thing you can tell me is what I know is most of these subjects are not important. Okay. And people saying, oh, here's the visual evidence. Like, you are going in a rabbit hole. Okay. So it could seem like a defeatist attitude, like you're not partaking, you're not, fighting back. But it's believe me, such a beautiful place to be, to put your mind and say, you know what, you are not the boss anymore. You are not the boss anymore. You work for me, okay? And you are not gonna dictate to me that I need to be right, that it needs to make sense. That you are not. You're gonna work for me, okay? Sure, you help me interpret this reality. Sure, you help me develop my skills, and that's perfectly fine. But at the end of the day, when your mind is dictating to you and you are so into that, into being right, and so upset when people are, oh, you believe a different thing, so you're the enemy. That's your mind. That's your mind. That doesn't come from the heart.
No, it can't come from the heart, because the arguments that I'm right, you're wrong, it's all stemmed off of emotion. And whenever we have a political divide or a religious divide or any type of divide, it all stems off of emotion. Political divides generally stem from emotional issues. Issues that people are very passionate about, and that's why. And now, our judgment, our restraint of tongue is being navigated by emotion, right? And then now you add groups of people who all feel the same way. In studying groups of people, there's a great book, I've referenced it many times, Group Psychology and the Analysis of the Ego, and that was written by Freud back in the 1800s. And groups of people are very, very dangerous, because and you can see it in a lot of instances. Groups of people, when you get people involved in groups, you can take an individual that will do things in a group to go against their own morals and values. We see it, we see it in protests, and we see it in riots and stuff, where people generally would not get, people will remain peaceful, and then all it takes is that one agitator to throw a brick or do something violent, and then what do you see? You get the whole mob scene involved. And that's why I'm very quick to stand back and resist being a particular part of any type of large group, because I don't want to. I want to identify as an individual, identify as Joel. And as you study history, things get very, very dangerous in large groups of people that all think and act the same way.
Yes, certainly. And the ones that leaders, which I don't believe that's being a leader, the ones that agitate you. Trump, for example, goes on his rallies and, we need to do this and we need to do that. The people are not really, they're just kind of following. They're just kind of attaching, okay? They lose their identity, and they just say, okay, and this idea that unfortunately is very embraced of the savior, the culprit, and if you think about it, if you go to a Trump rally, you see the savior, you see the culprit, and the culprit is the opposition of Trump, okay? And Trump is the savior. He's going to save you from this culprit, from this attacker, okay, that is making you a victim. And people love this. I mean, I don't understand it, but
they just want to fit in, man. They just want to fit in, and I've been very fortunate that that's never been my MO. I never really had any interest in being popular and fitting in, and that's something that I was born with. I don't understand why I was blessed with that, but it's always set me apart from large groups of people. And I'm truly, truly grateful for that.
No, you're fortunate. Yes, you're totally right. I mean, it's unfortunate. I think as people go through the process of self-discovery and that, they start smartening up and not being so, I don't know, susceptible to this kind of. But the part is here in Mexico, I mean, our president, he's basically like Trump. I mean, he has 30-40% of the nation basically asleep, like zombies, okay? Like, like the way he's always putting blame of whatever goes wrong on someone else. He never is to blame, never is to blame. He doesn't do anything wrong. I think that's the first person in his history, okay? But the way he puts blame on everything, a culprit, and you're victims, you're poor, you're victims, it's not your fault. I mean, stuff like that is I think is the basis of, of this eternal cycle of division and, and so. Joe, we're about here, we're having going like for 40, 50 minutes. So something you want to share maybe in closing or?
No, I just want to say, thank you for having me on. It's been great. It's been a long time since I've gotten on. It's been a while since I've seen you. It's always great to see you. For anybody listening that hasn't seen me for a while, maybe used to follow Wake in the Future, feel free to email me at wakeinthefuture@gmail. I mean at Gmail. Where did that come from? wakeinthefuture@protonmail.com, and give me a shout. Say hello. That email will forever be there, and I'd love to catch up with some of the old fan base and anybody else that wants to throw a note. Again, wakeinthefuture@protonmail.com, and again, I just want to extend my gratitude and thanks to you, Alex.
No, thank you, Joe. I will be, and I want to mention it again for someone that maybe hasn't heard me say this, but when you guys were asking for guests, I remember it was February 2022 last year. I was watching a show. I was actually on holiday, and I was watching the show. My wife was busy, and so I'm gonna watch a quick show, 30 minutes of the guys of Wake in the Future. And I remember you were the one saying, "Hey, we want to do the Keep It in Real segment." I think for a few months you had kind of stopped, or maybe I don't know what happened there, but you said we want to restart of Keeping It Real. So I immediately from the phone I emailed you. You responded like in a couple of days, saying sure, let's. And I was with you guys the next weekend. And the moment, and you guys had me on consecutive weekends. The second one was only with Pat. But the time the second episode ended, Joel, I wanted to keep going. And of course, it was never the intention. It's not the intention that I was going to be a permanent or semi-permanent part of Wake in the Future. So I said, it was a Saturday, and I came to the office on Sunday, and I started my own thing. And it was a mess, the first show. It was, bad audio, and it was grainy images, because I didn't invest a lot of time. But I kept improving it. But the important part is, if you have the intention, start something. And it doesn't have to be a podcast. If you want to paint, if you want to learn music, if you want to do it, okay? Don't minimize, because this is your intuition, your inner heart speaking to you. And for me, it was, you have something to say, and you enjoy saying it, because I enjoy maybe I was a little bit nervous the first time, but I really enjoy it being with you guys. So you were an inspiration for me, and I'll be forever thankful. Honestly, when you guys stopped, I felt it, okay? When Pat stopped appearing, and then you kept going on your own, and then when you finally right now are in a pause, I miss it. It's
sometimes I feel bad that we didn't do I guess maybe I should have done a complete farewell, but I didn't. And I think that's, in the back of my mind, I don't think I'm done recording and putting stuff out there. I think right now I'm just taking a step back.
Yes, and that's what you need to do. And maybe it's going to happen to me next year, in a month, in a day, I don't know. And you also have to be respectful of that, because if you force it, then it's something different. Then it's not really the point. For example, if we were getting paid or something like that, then how awful to be paid for something you don't want to do anymore, okay? It's great when you're paid, when it's something you love to do, like, for example, your situation right now. But when you are paid for something you really dislike, is when it. So thank you. If you don't mind, I'm going to go back to BitChute and post the link so whoever checking out the comments, maybe wants to see you again. I'm sure they will be happy to see you. You
can send the file over to me, and I can upload it over there too.
Sure, that works. Yeah, perfect. That's even better. Thank you very much. And, I want to thank Tony. He had also, he has been helping me a lot, same as he was coming along with you for almost all the time. So thank you, Joel. It was great.
Thank you.
And, let's not close the door here. If you want to come on in a few months, I'll really appreciate it. I really enjoy talking to you.
Absolutely, Alex. Whenever you want, give me a call, man. I'll come on.
Thank you. Thank you very much for everyone watching. I have a little outro, by the way. It's, just something I like to share. It's 2.5 minutes. So if you're a new subscriber, you haven't seen it, please try to stay for the last 2.5 minutes of the show. Thank you very much. Have a great day. Thank you, Joe.
Thank you, Alex.
Thank you for making it to this part of the video. This is my favorite part. This is where I suggest to you that you discover yourself. You are not what you have been groomed to believe. You are this incredible being without limits that has eternal life, amazing strength, infinite wisdom, and a big, beautiful heart. All your limits are always self-imposed. Your best version in this reality is inside you. Your only mission on this life is to become a beacon of love and guidance. This version is ready to be discovered today. How do you discover yourself? The discovery process is a personal one. No one can do it for you. Dedicate 5 minutes a day to talk to yourself and the universe. Request to be connected and ask, who am I? Where do I come from? You will start getting signs, breadcrumbs, and signals. You will notice how your notions about those realities start disappearing. No more hierarchies, no more competition, no more complaining, no more depending on others. Discovering yourself equals to breaking your matrix. Your self-imposed limits will fall, and you will be ready to serve humanity and help break this spell and deception on us. But you must be patient to allow others to wake up at their time through their own free will. That will be really soon, you will see, and that will start a new world. As you work towards your best version, you will notice how all emotions don't serve you anymore. Hate, fear, rage, pride, loss, envy, violence, justice, true violence, judgment of others, and other emotions will disappear from your mind and heart. You will understand those emotions serve only the evildoers and are not you. Please try to be understanding of others that don't think or feel like you. Everyone has a process. No one is right or wrong. We're all just different. Don't be concerned about being right, ever. Don't allow pride preventing you from patching things up with family and friends. It is very important you enjoy this life with your loved ones. Put in the work to patch things up and leave it to others to decide. Please relax and enjoy life. When everyone breaks their own matrix, humanity through our community consciousness will break the final spell. The new world will start and everything will gradually fall. Governments, hierarchies, and the medical and financial system will go from scarcity to abundance for all. Thank you very much for watching. Please share this episode. If you have any comments or suggestions, please use the comment section below. For private questions, conversations, and if you would like to appear on the show, please email me at hey@humanitywins.net. Thank you again. Please don't forget to visit our website, www.humanitywins.net. By giving me your time, you honor me. Have a very, very, very nice day.